Ciao and benvenuti. So we are celebrating my son's Alessandro's birthday tomorrow, and when we asked him what would you like for cake, he said something chocolate and more chocolate and more chocolate. So I thought I'd make him a tiramisu, a double chocolate tiramisu, but when we went to the supermarket today I couldn't find any lady fingers, so I decided to make my own thing. So I'm actually partly inventing something today, quite exciting. I love creating and making things in the kitchen. So I'm gonna be calling this a bit of a no-bake, lazy chocolate, double chocolate cake or something similar. But I'll give you an overview of the ingredients, because there is chocolate and more chocolate and more chocolate, but then step by step I'll go through the recipe, and then I'll, of course, once I finish, I'll list all of the ingredients and quantities. So here we go, chocolate and chocolate and chocolate. I will be using also some, what is called, Julie?
Chocolate fingers.
Chocolate fingers.
Cadbury's chocolate fingers.
Chocolate fingers
and Cadbury's chocolate.
And these are buttons for
From
decorations
Cadbury's.
for tomorrow.
Not that we...
No, not that we don't love Cadbury's. This isn't an advert for Cadbury's.
No, it's not. It's just our favourite chocolate, yeah.
Then here I go quite a bit of mascarpone. I go 500 grams. I'm not sure if I will use it all. And I go also 600 grams of double cream.
Millilitres, babe.
Sorry, 500 milliliters. I'm doing it for 10 people, but there are 10 hungry people, so I'll see. But the tin I'll be using is here, if Julie can...
What about this?
Yeah, I will go in that in a moment. This is the tin that I will be using, and this is 25 centimeters in diameter and also 17 centimeters in depth. And I've got a little idea on how to make it very, very presentable.
And the star of the show.
The star of the show is here. This chocolate Swiss roll. Again, I've got two, but I think I might get away with using one. The other one will have to be frozen if I manage to hide it from Julie.
The thing is, this brings back so many memories for me, because my nanny and granddad used to always have a Swiss roll, and then we'd have a slice with a little evaporated milk on.
Indeed, but if I leave that loose in the house,
gone.
She will be
Gone.
eating it. She's terrible. I'll tell you a little story in a moment about Easter eggs and so on.
No,
but,
no.
Actually, I might have done that already.
You might have done that one, actually, yeah.
Anyway, I'll make a start, and I'll guide you step by step to what I do. This is semi-skimmed milk, and I'm measuring 250 milliliters using a measuring jug. And at the moment the milk is cold, of course, but I will be making a hot chocolate next. So I've got hot chocolate powder here, and I will be adding a couple of the set spoons to it, like so. I've got little saucepans on the go here, but before I pour the milk in, I'll give it a quick mix, and I'll try and blend the powder as much as I can, and I will add it in. Julie is salivating already by the side of the bar of chocolate, and I'll just really, as it is, I open it up, and I'll add it to the milk.
Just show everybody how pretty she is. Look. This is like my favourite chocolate. I don't think there's any better chocolate in the world, everybody. I'm sorry if you come from different countries. I'm really sorry, but...
Actually, I've got a confession to make. Whenever I go to Sicily to visit my family, one of the things that we take with us over there for a change, rather than taking stuff back, is chocolate. So we always take some chocolate, because I absolutely love it. It's so lovely. It's one of those things. I've just added a little bit more milk in my jug, so that I can wash the remaining chocolate and we don't waste anything. And by the way, do not keep the temperature too high, otherwise you will burn the chocolate. So mine at the moment is just above medium, number 6 out of 9. So if you go a gas hob, for example, medium is also perfect. But do make sure that you mix it constantly until the chocolate has totally melted. I think I'll call this the lazy no-bake double chocolate cream cake, and you will be pleased to know that this is the only cooking required in this recipe. And if you look, the chocolate has totally melted, so you do not need to take it to the bowl. As long as the chocolate is all gone, you can remove it from the heat. So I'll turn this off now, and I will leave it on one side to cool down. And this is the easiest chocolate cake recipe in the world. So I got some fresh double cream, and this is, as I mentioned before, 600 milliliters. So I'll pour half inside a jug. I think it's pretty much half, a little bit more. And using an electric whisker, I'm going to be mixing this until it thickens up nicely. Make sure that you do not overdo it, otherwise mine actually is a little bit over, and otherwise it becomes like butter.
Literally went in the last second, didn't it? That was really...
But that's good, because I do want it to be a little bit denser, but do not go more than that. And off I go with my mascarpone next, and as I mentioned before, I start with one pot. I might have to make more, we'll see, but I don't want to make more than what I need and then having to worry about freezing it and so on. So one pot of 250 grams is what I'll start with. And using the same whisks, no need to wash them, I'll just do the same with the mascarpone. As you come to the end, just lift your whisks and they kind of self-clean, but I'll use the spatula to clean them off. Now that I've mixed the mascarpone, I'm happy that I can add it to my whipped double cream, and I'm using a spatula to do that. Now this is very optional, and bearing in mind that it is a birthday cake, I know that they all like a little bit of alcohol, so I've decided today to add a little Tia Maria, and I've got also some vanilla, and I think it will add a lovely depth to the cake and also flavour. So just one shot is all I'm going to be adding.
That's good, because that's actually my Tia Maria that I have in my coffee at Christmas time.
It's ours.
You don't drink alcohol.
I know, but in cake I do. I think this is Julie's way of telling me that she wants me to buy a new bottle of Tia Maria.
No, that was actually new last...
Well, it would have been new at some point.
Not much left actually now.
Okay, so because I've added the Tia Maria also, it's considerably easier to now fold it together. And when you're folding it, go from the bottom up and do not be too rough. That's perfectly okay. You will be pleased to know also that I will not be using the electric whisks anymore.
Had I better taste a little? Let me just have a wee taste to see if there's enough Tia Maria.
Every excuse.
Lovely.
Okay, so next ingredient is going to be some cocoa, and this is cocoa powder and is bitter cocoa. So I will do things step by step. So I've got a little sieve over here, and I'll put it here, and I'll start by going to fill the saucepan with some cocoa powder, and actually I dropped it, never mind. There, and I'll make sure that I'll sieve it. And I'll mix it to see what the color and taste is like first, and then I'll decide if I want to add some more. And again, go from the bottom up. Yeah, we think that one full saucepan is enough. And so I'll carry on mixing now until it becomes of a uniform color. I did say I was going to show you step by step what I do, so I now need to taste it to see what it's like for sugar, because I haven't had any yet. Julia's tasted it for Tia Maria, but not for sugar. So let's have a look. Yeah, it's sharp actually, because the cocoa has made it even sharper. So what I'll do, bear in mind that this is my just newly created recipe, I've got some icing sugar here, and I'll start adding the saucepan at a time. And I've got my sieve over here, just like I did with the cocoa. I'll put it in and I'll sieve it in first. The reason why, by the way, you sieve things is to avoid creating lumps. And let's mix it together, and I'll wait until the icing sugar has been amalgamated, and then we can test it again. Okay, let's have a look. Better, but still a little bit bitter. That sounds like I've actually thought about that. I didn't. It makes perfect sense. Better, but bitter. So another tablespoon goes in. Actually, I think actually pretty much is the extent of what I got left here. So I'll just pour the rest in now. It's about a tablespoon and a half, and that should be enough. And after take two, I can test it once again, and let's see if it's up to standard. That's perfect. It's still a little bit, tiny little bitter, but bearing in mind that we've got quite a lot of sweetness coming through from the chocolate over here. Also, the Swiss roll is quite sweet, and also the additional chocolate which I'll be putting on top tomorrow. So I think I'm happy that it's perfect. And I'm ready to make a start with my creation. The chocolate Swiss roll, I have sliced it into 13 different pieces, approximately 1.5 centimeters thickness each piece. Here I'll show you in this camera so that you can see. And you don't have to be precise, by the way. This is just baking. Actually, it's not even baking, it's cheating. Anyway, and I'm going around the outside first so that I cover the outside with my little circles. And because this is actually very spongy, you can actually play and just
cram them in.
Cram them in. Actually, can you see this one, which is a little bit thin? I'll take it out and I'll go a nice chunky one and I'll put him in there instead, like this. Then I'll go in the middle, and I will also fill as much as I can the middle with any remaining little rolls. And this is pretty much one chocolate Swiss roll, so just as well I bought two because I'll need them both. I'll be doing 2 layers. Back to my hot double chocolate, and I'll give it a good mix, and this has been cooling down now for a good 15 minutes, so I'm happy that it is safe to be added to my cake. And Julie has given me the quality standard approval as she just tested it, and she said it tastes absolutely delicious.
Indeed.
So I'll just pour some of this on top of all of my mini rolls. By the way, I'm not sure if I've said it, but this tin has got a detachable bottom, has got one of those little clips over here, those clever little clips. So when the cake is ready, it will be easier to remove it. Now, Julie and I had a little chat, and we think that it is wise that as this is the base, really it's more important than the top. So I'm going to be filling any large hole with some of the Swiss roll from the second roll, so that we don't end up with unwanted surprises. So the decision has been made. We're going to be filling them all to ensure that our base is as solid as it can be.
Looks delicious, dear.
Okay, that's perfectly okay. I think I detect a little sarcasm coming from Julie. She won't say that tomorrow once she tasted it.
No, I won't.
Okay, but as I've now completely compacted with the Swiss roll, I can comfortably go back and add a little bit more chocolate. Entirely up to you how much you add, but I think I'll stop as the Swiss roll is quite wet anyway, so I don't really want to end up with a chocolate bath.
A chocolate bath.
Admittedly, I should have done this earlier, but it's never too late. Get a little plate and put it underneath, as there will inevitably be a little leakage. And I'll carry on. So here is my cream, and I'll divide it in half. And you've guessed it, I'm going to be pouring half of it on top of my first layer. And I'm going to be a little bit more generous towards the end, and I will apply just a thin layer at this stage, and then I can make sure that I got more than what I need for the top at the end. And by the way, you don't need to worry about the presentation, because none of this will be visible, and you will see what I mean as tomorrow when I remove the tin I will be decorating the outside with more chocolate, of course.
Chocolate fingers.
Chocolate fingers, yes. And off I start again. As I have pinched some of the rolls from my second Swiss roll, we have actually sliced this slightly thinner so that we still got enough to go all the way around. So we've done 13 is the minimum that we need for my 25 centimeter diameter tin. Yeah. There you go. And I got a little piece left over here. I'll put him in over here. And the fact that I've got gaps now doesn't worry me, because I will be putting chocolate in the gaps. But before I go ahead and do that, I will put a little bit more of my beautiful chocolate sauce on top of each piece. He did say he wanted chocolate and chocolate, and chocolate and chocolate is what he's going to get.
To be fair, he made me a delicious 3-layer chocolate cake with chocolate ganache on and jam on last week. So that would have been my go-to had he not just made it for me. So yeah, Francesco came up with this instead, and I think it's going to be lovely.
I think I'll stop now. I do not want to add too much. I've actually asked Julie, do you think it's enough? She said, oh yeah. I know why, because she knows that she's going to have the leftover.
Oh, lucky me, there's like a whole 2 slaps there.
Yes. Okay, and I think you will have guessed what is coming next. The remaining of my mix goes on top of everything. So I think we got actually absolutely plenty of cream. We don't need to mix anymore, and double cream and mascarpone quantity wise, they were perfect. Bearing in mind also that this is a very rich cake, I think it's useful that you don't have too much of one single ingredient. I've gone as much as I can with the spatula, so I'm going to switch to a spoon now. I think it will make it look a little bit more presentable also. And this is as good as I can get it, and I'll stop now. But before I put it in the fridge, I'll just get some kitchen roll, and I'll tidy up the edges so that it's not so messy. And I'll just tidy in the tin, by the way, considerably easier than going around with the kitchen roll. And I'll finish for today. Tomorrow morning I will get it out of the, will go in the fridge, of course. Tomorrow morning I'll get it out of the fridge, and then I'll do the final decorations, which will make the cake look much better. So I'll see you tomorrow morning. Ciao ciao for now. Buongiorno. So it is out of the fridge and has set beautifully overnight. So the first job to do is to now remove it, the tin, and then start doing some decorations. So I will remove it from the plate first. Let's have a look to see if there was any leakage.
No, none at all.
Not bad
actually.
at all, actually. It's pretty good, yes.
Yeah.
That's a good sign, anyway. But before I remove my tin, I'll just gently go around with a palette knife to loosen it up so that I don't end up spoiling the cake. If it helps, you can also turn the tin instead of going around with the knife, whatever is easier for you. And actually, I'm glad I'm doing this because at times it's a little bit stiff, so it would have given me a problem.
Now we pray a little. Oh, here we go.
Well, I'm not actually that worried if it's going to make a little mess, because we're going to be doing some decoration. So let's gently remove this first, and let's have a look.
Ooh, lovely.
Yeah, it looks pretty good actually. This is boiling hot water, and I'm pouring it on top of a palette knife, and I'm making it really hot. And I'll dry very well using a cloth so that it's still very warm. And I'm now going to go on top of my cake, and very briefly I'll just smoothen a little. And being that the knife is really hot and the cake is really cold, it will help in smoothing it slightly. It's not going to be perfect, but I want to be as good looking as it can. I could not do this before because obviously the rim of the tin was higher than the cake, and this is my only opportunity. And that's much better now. This is the same chocolate powder I used when I made my soak earlier, and I'm just dusting it on top of my cake to give it a little bit of a luxury finish, but also because I've got a little bit of a white speckle, I think it will go very well with the final design. The diameter of my cake is 25 centimeters, and using a very simple formula I worked out that the circumference is 78 centimeters big. I will put the calculations in the notes so that you can work it out depending on what size tin you might be using. However, I will be using a combination of white and dark chocolates to go around the cake, and I'm gonna be using 3 and 1, and that will give a nice and elegant look. But I need to make sure that my chocolate will stick to the side. So in the theme of the recipe, I'm going to be using some Nutella today. Of course, you can also use, if you like, some mixture of mascarpone and cream if you've got any leftover. Unfortunately, we didn't have any leftover, so I'm using Nutella. But Nutella is a pretty good choice.
It's an Italian staple in the kitchen, isn't
Yes.
it? And as it happens, our son loves Nutella, so we're going to be well chuffed there's some in there.
So what I'll do here, though, I'm not going to go mad. This is going to be like an edible glue. And I'll just go on the side here in the middle, and using my knife, I will just spread a little, just in the middle of my cake. Don't put too much, otherwise it will make a mess. And I've already got some sticky stuff on the top anyhow, and just I'll go around the entire surface of my edge, and then I will be sticking my little chocolate fingers. And I was very cautious as I bought more than what I needed, as the odd chocolate biscuit could break, or maybe some of them could mysteriously disappear.
I can't imagine where they might go. In my defence, I've been very good, and they were still in the packet closed this morning, which is a miracle, believe me.
I know. I have to tell you something. When I put them away yesterday, I put a packet in the shelf here in the kitchen, but then I forgot and I put the rest in the fridge. So when I was looking for the second package of the dark chocolate and I couldn't find it, I did actually ask Julie, have you seen it? And she said no. I did actually think that she came honestly in the middle of the night.
As if I would do that.
Yeah, as if. I will tell you a little story actually. Yesterday I mentioned to you about Easter eggs and a story that I was going to share with you. I did actually share a story about the fact that we have to hide the Easter eggs at Easter because someone will find them and eat them, even if this someone is the one who purchased them. So this is a story which goes back a long time ago when I first moved to this country, actually back in the early 90s, and we used to live in this little village called Bodswall, and it was a beautiful village, it still is, but things have changed slightly. And it had a church, it had a butcher, it had a school, and also it had a store. And it was Easter, and I got my Easter egg. Now, for the benefit of those who do not live in the UK, including Italy, but especially in the States, where you might not be familiar with English Easter eggs, they come with a little 1 or 2 chocolate bars as part of the package. And the chocolate bars, they are either inside the egg or as outside the egg. It's part of the fun. So, Easter came and I opened my Easter egg, and the first thing I thought I would eat was one of the chocolate bars. So I picked up the bar and I could feel a little label underneath. I thought, what's that? So when I looked, there was a little label which said Bodswall Store. So someone had opened my Easter egg and taken away the bar, ate it, and then replaced it with another bar.
It must have been my sister.
Yeah, of course it was your sister. But she didn't actually realise that there was a little label. Now, how sneaky is that? Can you see what I'm dealing with here? And
I'm always a little bit useless at covering my tracks. I'd be a terrible thief.
Yes, you are. You are a terrible thief.
That's not the only thing I've done it with. No. Funnily enough, I used to nick the children's chocolate when they were younger.
Oh God, yeah.
Not too many years ago, when our middle son Roberto was I don't know, he was probably about 16, and he came shooting through and he's like, "Mum, have you eaten my curly whirly?" And I'm like, "No, mate, I haven't eaten your curly whirly. Why?" We went back to have a look at the curly whirly. I took it out of his drawer and it had been nibbled by a little mouse who was living in our house at the time. And I was like, "Mate, if I was going to eat your curly whirly, I'd have scoffed the whole lot. I would not have nibbled a bit of chocolate off." Do you not know me by now?
I remember that, yeah. But that's what happens, you see, when you build a reputation, then you get the blame for everything. Anyway, talking about chocolate, Julie, do you know that white chocolate is not chocolate, really?
Well, I do know that, but I don't know what it is. I can't quite remember what the distinction is, but I am aware that somehow it's not proper chocolate. I mean, who cares, because it tastes lovely anyway. But
who cares? Yes, you don't care, obviously.
I don't care.
But actually, it is a commercial thing, and white chocolate doesn't really exist. It's just a way to brand something, because the chocolate actually is dark, and the solid is what you need in the chocolate. And that is what, for example, this has got the solid cocoa of the chocolate. Whereas actually the white chocolate is made up of the chocolate, the cocoa butter and the milk and sugar. So strictly speaking, actually, it's not chocolate. However, In certain countries, actually, they are not allowed to call it chocolate, but in the UK they are, because commercially it's acceptable that people
We don't
refer
care.
to it.
Chocolate is like one of the major food groups.
Yeah, including
We
the
don't
guy at the
care.
till yesterday.
Yeah, the guy in the supermarket was more excited about our white ones than our milk
Yes.
chocolate ones, bless him.
Anyway, while I'm mumbling on about chocolate and little stories, I'm getting on here like a house on fire. Look how beautiful this is beginning to look.
It's so pretty. It is
Yeah.
very impressive.
And I've actually
He's
got...
going to be really impressed, I think, when he sees this. Yeah.
Actually, I've got another confession to make to you guys. I need to tell this to you, actually, because people won't be able to see. I have been thinking about this design pretty much all night. I have been wondering how am I going to do this. This is how sad I am. Julie is the one who doesn't really worry. She seems to be thinking, I'll eat it, whatever it looks like.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about the design, and this is what I decided looks better. So there you go. That's me.
No, it looks lovely. This is sort of a classic thing. I've seen it on other cakes. It's sort of a classic English thing, isn't it, with putting things at the side of cakes. I think my sister did it with some Ferrero Rocher once. Oh, how are we getting on? Is it not? Oh, you might have to do a... Oh, I don't know.
No, it'll be fine. Look.
I think it'll be perfect.
Look at
Wow.
this. One,
One,
two, 3. Oh, I did tell you.
There'll be some left, hurrah! Look what I'll be snacking on next. This is breakfast.
Look at this.
Breakfast.
It's absolutely perfect. Didn't have to cheat either. They are perfectly symmetric. And you got 3 and 1. 3 and 1.
Wow.
Look at that. And
Yeah,
I'll
just give it a little hug.
Now give everything a little push
hug.
together. A little hug. Hugging chocolate, Julie. That is your dream. And I can now move on and do the top. And I've got some chocolate buttons. They call twisted chocolate. This is again a combination of white, off-white, and normal chocolate.
A normal milk chocolate. Obviously, you could use anything really on top, couldn't you?
You can indeed. So the idea that I've got in mind is that I'll start in the middle, bang on in the middle.
Now I'm just going to point out, everybody, that in fact Francesco has planned this out on the worktop earlier. So we've got a distinct design. It's all measured up.
It's all in my head. So I'll now very carefully build a little flower. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 6. Of course, guys, you can use any chocolate you like, and you do not have to do this either. And it's entirely up to you. Look, I made a little mess there, never mind. And of course, the pattern you choose is entirely up to you also. But this is what I'm going for today, and I'm trying to be as symmetric as I can. So I'll see how it goes. And here is my last one, which will be opposite to this one.
Will there be some of these left over, do you think? Oh, I don't know, it's going to be tight.
There will be a few. I have counted them. You're good.
I haven't eaten those before. I think they're quite new, aren't they?
They are quite new, yeah. And that is my last one, and my pattern on
looks
top
pretty.
is completed.
Lovely.
And Julie will be pleased to know. Look, this is what we have got left over. A few there.
We're actually going to our son's for a barbecue late lunch, so this will be a nice little snackette to keep me going.
I also wanted to add that I will not be cutting this now. It's a birthday cake, but when we get to our son, we will be slicing it, and they'll be blowing the candles, whatever. And I will be adding a few clips at the end of this video if you want to see the inside. So if you hang on, then you'll be able to see those later. And that is it. The lazy no-bake double chocolate cream cake is ready. So I will move it into this box so that we can safely transport it, and I'll put it in the fridge so that it'll continue setting, but I need to make sure that I don't spoil it. So I'm gonna use this to just gently lift it. And it's ready. I think it looks beautiful. I'm sure you will agree. And one last thing, if you're liking the channel and you're enjoying my videos, don't just watch them, subscribe. It will definitely help me. Arrivederci, and a few clips to come in a moment, and buon appetito, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.
To you.